So this is how a lot of us have functioned in the last few years. Hello? Yeah, so I was saying that we can... Can you hear me? Oh, I'm on mute, yep. Sorry. Look, these teething technical troubles, I can tolerate. But can we do better? I mean, I just want to feel more present. I turned to my life coach, Sir Google, for some advice. And that's when I stumbled upon this buzzword, telepresence.
Telepresence technology makes you feel that a person is with you when they are actually in another location.
Telepresence is a way that you can either go into the virtual world or the virtual world can come into you.
In a way, teleport this person over to a location.
Other forms of telepresence involve robots. The other one is the hologram.
And as I dig further online, $6.19 billion by 2027? Why are people spending so much money on this? I mean, what's the difference between telepresence and Zoom? I know what you're thinking. What does this guy know about the future? That's the thing. I'm no expert. Oh boy. I feel like I'm giving birth to aliens.
3, 2, 1.
Oh, there you go. Right there. Wow.
Digital resurrection.
Digital biomarkers.
Tissue engineering.
GM manipulations.
Organ on a chip.
If all these buzzwords are supposed to change the way we live forever, I want to be in on that conversation to find out exactly what's the big deal about telepresence.
We rolling?
Okay, look, I get it. The metaverse, the virtual reality world, I don't think it's ever going to work for me. Think about it from the audience perspective. You know, if you're going to watch a stand-up comedy show, you want to be in that room full of laughter, that communal experience, that atmosphere. That's just something different, right? And you can't compare that experience to entering a virtual comedy club and watching an avatar of me performing in the metaverse. What if there was a way for me to perform a live show for all of these people without actually being there? Enter Holopresence,
We're bringing him in virtually through the portal.
a technology that allows an audience to feel your presence via a hologram.
This is historical. You're doing it in front of Manny Pacquiao.
Wait, this is only for celebrities or some big flashy events, right? I mean, that's what I thought too. But a co-working space is investing in this holographic technology for something as regular as remote conferencing. If it's used for that sort of thing, maybe it's no longer that out of reach for a stand-up comedian like me. You've sat me down here. I don't know why. What's going on? Whoa!
Hello. Hello from Hong Kong. How are you, Rishi?
I'm great. Why did anyone warn me about this I dream of genie moment? Is this how you welcome guests into your studio?
Of course. Well, when I can't be with you guys, that's how I see you guys.
And you can see me.
Yes, definitely.
Kareen, you are literally having this conversation with me in real time, but you're in Hong Kong. How is this even possible? This is unreal for me.
So right now you're seeing me in our proprietary screen and frame powered by our art engine. I can come and see you, but I have to take a flight, after that, like 4 hours later. But this is faster, isn't it? Just ping and I'm here.
What's the latency like in our conversation, in our interaction?
We tell everybody that 0.3 seconds. Okay? But it really depends on the network that we're on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I've got something I want to do. It's a test. I want to challenge you to a game of scissors, paper, stone. Or rock, paper, scissors, whatever we call it.
Okay.
Wherever you are.
Okay.
Ready?
Okay. Okay, okay.
Scissors, paper, stone.
Ah, damn, you won.
That's pretty cool. As cool as it was to interact with Corinne in Hong Kong as if she were right in front of me, to see her hologram, I would need to be in a darkened room set up just for this experience. But the folks behind this technology have come up with something far more portable and versatile. The capsule. That's not me, that's my hologram that you're looking at. I'm actually in a capture studio just 5 steps away. But with high-speed internet beaming my hologram over, I could jolly well be in any other country talking to Gary, the man who's bringing this technology to Singapore. So if I look to my...
Yes.
Hey, what's up, buddy? I was going to ask a question that sounds a bit silly now, in all honesty. I was going to ask you, why is this better than a Zoom call?
Humans don't just communicate with words, they communicate with body language, and that helps in creating a connection to your audience. For example, if you're presenting on stage, right? During the COVID travel restrictions, I know Art Media actually beamed a bridesmaid from London into a wedding.
Ring, ring. London calling.
Because the bridesmaid couldn't travel, right? If you're going to do a multi-city conference, you can beam to as many locations in the world as you need. What it presents you is the convenience of being in real time and life size, and it's really low latency. You know, after a while, you might actually be fooled to think that the person is actually in the room with you.
Let's just imagine this, beaming in an overseas speaker. It is a 2-hour event, but the travel time from US to Singapore would probably take you about 16 hours. When we actually beam in an overseas speaker, we are actually saving a lot of time and also carbon footprint.
And as it turns out, there is one industry that is already taking Holopresence to a whole new level. Theatre. Ironically, to see Holopresence in action on stage, I'm gonna have to physically fly to London. Not that I'm complaining about it. Now, I know it seems like I've been flown thousands of miles just to sit in a theater and watch a movie, but this is no regular movie. Let's pause it right here. You might think you're looking at quadruplets on stage. Well, actually, at this point, there's no one on stage at all. A dancer was pre-recorded, projected as a hologram on stage, and multiplied 4 times. In fact, this musical, Cages, has only got 8 live actors. Hey, excuse me. And I have been invited on stage to get a taste of what it feels like to be one of them. Uncle, can I borrow some of that stuff that you got there? Here's how the holograms appear on stage. A polymer screen rests at a 45-degree angle between the stage and the audience. Hidden from the audience, above and in front of the screen is at least one high-definition video projector, tricking the audience into believing that I am interacting with 3D objects, fire, and even the weather.
You can actually make the stage fill up with water.
And I can now say that as an actor, I have literally been through my baptism of fire on a London stage. Whoa. With my bragging rights secured, I am now sitting down with the pair of brothers who made all of this possible. What's the difference between people gathering to watch a performance on a projector screen, i.e. a film, versus having a holographic figure, a telepresent figure there?
When you have a 3D object in 2D space, there's there's a barrier between you. There's a screen. It's something that's
Artificial?
yeah, it's something artificial about it. So what you have here is a 3D object in 3D space, and what we're doing is we're bringing the digital world into the real world. They're seeing things that could only be done in the digital world.
It's the oldest trick in the book. It's the original smoke and mirrors from theater. But what we're kind of injecting into it is bringing new display technology, new projections, new editing and playback software to kind of reimagine what it can be, how it can be used on stage.
What are some of the benefits of this new combination of technology that you've used in the show?
Several actors have become immortalized as holograms, and they can now be anywhere this show goes without having to bring them out here, without ever having to go into makeup, without ever having to dress up, and you're able to create something then, that you could never do with a real person. You know, you could light somebody on fire on there and not have to worry about any fire code safety or anything.
Do you think you've stumbled upon something that has other practical applications outside of what you're doing here?
Yeah, if you're a musical artist and you want to perform multiple cities at once, you can have that performance, that show, go on tour without you. You never have to leave.
That function of never having to leave your doorstep is playing out in a college just 3 hours away, albeit in a very different form of telepresence. A telepresence robot.
I don't think I have any questions for now.
So this robot has been attending class on behalf of a student for nearly 2 years. Iona Darnley can't come to class in person because she suffers from a condition that causes chronic fatigue.
Here, you put this on the table and just get on and teach the class. And Iona was able to engage. She could hear me and she could answer, as well as being able to see everything.
Why not just do e-learning?
I have obviously during the pandemic taught students over Zoom or whatever, but it's not as easy. You're not engaging with them in the same way. This is far less clunky. I didn't have to worry, is the camera in the right place? Iona and the robot can twist it around. It's just a lot easier.
This robot started attending school since 2020. I want to know how effective it is for Iona, the student who has been using this robot.
It's very hard for me to be able to go into college, especially with the long bus journey. So by the time I get there, I wouldn't feel well enough to be able to do the lesson.
Do you think it's a good replacement for being in this form in class?
Yeah, I think so, because I think it takes into account kind of all the things a student might need. So I can see through the robot, like I can see you now, and I can move it around, and I can.
I suddenly became very aware that you're actually looking at me.
If I'm not feeling very well and I don't really want to take part in the class, then I can change the head to blue. Okay. But you can also change the expression. So this one is happy. This one's sad. I can make my head flash.
And what does the flashing head mean?
It's the same as putting your hand up in class. I don't think I would change anything about it. I've had a lot of people say, oh, you should have your face should show up on the robot.
Yeah, what do you think about that?
I don't really like that idea, because there are times, like I said, where I'll just be lying in bed listening to a lesson, and I don't really need people seeing me looking really unwell. And
I thought, what does this have that a regular laptop doesn't? But despite the fact that it wasn't a fully physical human form, I could feel Iona's presence throughout, and I didn't expect to. Neither did I expect that my journey to explore telepresence would eventually put me in an operating theater. Whoa. My parents would be so proud right now. We're familiar with virtual reality. where you're thrown into a completely computer-simulated world. There's also augmented reality, a view of the physical world with layers of digital elements. But when the physical and digital elements can interact, we get mixed reality.
So mixed reality is projecting holograms into real-world spaces. And these holograms are not just objects of light, they are objects that interact with real-world environments. So that's a very different use of so-called holograms today.
To show you what that means, I'm gonna have to change into some scrubs. You know, Dr. Gao, this is a monumental moment in my life because finally I look like what it would be if I fulfilled my parents' dreams.
What I'm going to show you is essentially how we use holomedicine technology. Right, so this is called a mixed reality device. You have the ability to perceive the outside world because the visors are transparent. But at the same time, you get a virtual overlay.
Show me how it works.
So when you put this thing on, right, so this rests on your forehead.
Okay.
This is a knob that adjusts the tightness for it.
Got it.
Whoa,
whoa, whoa.
So there are already some images that's being displayed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa. Hey, Doc. I mean, I would say that you should have given me a heads up, but you did. So, whoa.
Right. So, this is mixed reality. Right, so you can see everything around it. You can see me, you can see the patient that's in front of you. But in front here, you see this whole holographic display.
Okay.
Right, so how you interact with this essentially is just to use your hands. So for example, you stick out your hands now, right, you see these lines that's coming out, right?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, so these are the control lines. Essentially, I call them the puppet strings.
Yeah.
So if let's say you put your puppet string over that display there,
okay,
right, and then your thumb and index finger, you pinch on it. Yeah, just touch it, touch like this.
Ooh, whoa!
Yeah, you can move it.
Hey!
So this is actually a liver.
Oh, it's liver.
Yeah, a patient's liver. So right now, our devices are linked up together. Right, so we are both looking at the exact same image. So this is essentially one of our reference scans. We use this when we do surgical planning for liver transplants.
What we're seeing now is an exact 3D model of a patient's liver. Holographic medicine enables surgeons like Dr. Gao to overlay medical imaging onto patients while they operate, allowing for better clinical outcomes. In Singapore, the use of this technology is still in research trials and has assisted about 80 surgeries as a supplementary tool. How is this additional level of holomedicine different from just having the traditional scans that you've been working with, CT scans, the MRIs, and the works? Like, how is it improving your work?
For example, when I'm trying to interpret a CT scan of the liver, what we do or in the past, or what we usually do nowadays, in most cases, is that we have a computer screen, right? Then you can scroll up and down on the computer screen, but that only gives you a two-dimensional slice through the patient. It's actually quite difficult to, translate a 2D image into a 3D mental model, and it takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
It takes usually a few years for us to develop the skill to be extremely proficient in it. With technology like this, I don't have to do the mental gymnastics.
How accurate is this translation?
It's at 100% accuracy. And I think one of the biggest benefit is me as a trainee, I never got to see things from the first person's perspective of my tutors or my mentors. So whenever they ask me, okay, you see this, and things like that, so I would try and imagine from their perspective what it looks like. I'll try and imagine, what they're saying, what they're seeing, and you try your best to understand what is going through their mind.
How is something like this telepresence, or is it even?
For example, if we need some advice from a more senior surgeon, right, they can essentially put on a device wherever they are, anywhere in the world, right, and they can join us in the operating theatre, and we can discuss the case with them, and they can provide real-time assistance.
That blows my mind, dog.
Yeah.
That, someone can call in, and if they have, and even better, if they have been through something like this before, it's like, okay,
Yes.
we know this doctor, we know the surgeon who's not in town right now, but they've been through similar case before.
Yes.
Let's get their advice.
Yes, exactly. Right. So, in this case, for example, I've actually asked my friend Steve to join us in this operating theatre.
Steve, can I ask, is this your avatar, or is this what you look like?
Yeah, this is absolutely how I look like.
Right. So, for example, if let's say Steve wants to move the images, he can actually go ahead and move them. Right. So now Steve is controlling the image.
Right. So tell us, you were saying that this is a form of a demo of how telepresence might work in medicine.
Exactly. In this case, Steve, who is the international expert today, he is looking at the scans, and you can see that he's scrolling through the scans.
Yeah. What body part is this again?
This is the abdomen.
Abdomen. Okay, sorry.
Yeah. So, because we have this much higher level of interactivity, we can go ahead and say, okay, we can discuss about this part of the body, we can discuss about this part of the scan, and the control of the image is seamless. So this is just one example of how we can use telepresence. Of course, it's still in its very early stages, so we can see each other as avatars, we can see the scans, but Steve can't actually see the environment that we are in, right? Because he's still at home. The next step in doing all this is to replicate the environment as well and teleport it from here to Steve's house.
So I started my journey into exploring the world of telepresence because I was genuinely intrigued by the possibility of being able to do live comedy in multiple cities at once. But what I've seen is that cutting-edge telepresence has the ability to go beyond just the world of entertainment. In fact, it has the potential to change lives. And in the world of medicine, for example, make something that was not possible before possible. And that is a big deal.